What is something you spend a ton of money on that the vast majority of people never would? Computer components. Set to drop an ungodly amount of my paycheck on Friday at Microcenter. IT's been 6 years since my last CPU upgrade, don't judge me. My daughter's cheerleading team. It is so duck-eyeing expensive, but she really loves it, and it's done tons for her self-confidence and time management skills. Plus, I never hid from her the struggles to find the money. I donate my plasma to help pay for the travel expenses, so she really appreciates being able to be on the team. This is her last year and I'm surprised to find I'm actually a little sad. I'm about to drop $1,000 to repair my flute. A mixed reef aquarium for my living room. The amount of money you can potentially spend in the hobby is ludicrous. But there is something captivating about watching all the interactions in a marine ecosystem as it grows. Many of the best looking corals and fish can also be grown sustainably by aquaculture suppliers now, which I think is important if you want to be a responsible pet owner. The other big draw for me is all the gear and tech which is available to tinker with. From proficient skimmers to pumps, power heads, refugiums, reactors, and dosing equipment. You could spend thousands if you wanted. And that's nothing compared to the cost of some specialty fish or corals with really radiant colors. Seltzer water. It substantially cut down on my alcohol intake and I never drink soda anymore. But to anyone who had never been to my house you'd think I was stocking up for the end of the world or looking into becoming a seltzer distributor. I dropped $1,000 to own this Nazi German Shepherd puppet. From the TV show Danger 5. I got it at an auction the producers of the show put on a couple of years ago and I don't think a lot of people would be willing to drop that kind of money on a prop. For those of you unfamiliar with the show, it's a hilarious Australian comedy about a group of spies who are trying to kill Hitler. But the show, at least the first season, is shot like it's from the 1960s. Cute. Here are some of the scenes featuring my puppet, and a bonus gif of my puppet watching himself. I like to collect fossils and pretty minerals that I spend way too much on, but it's my hobby and I love it. I think I'm in the top 1% of chickpea consumers. Astronomy gear. Just one eyepiece. Can cost significantly more than most entry-level telescopes. A large, well-made mirror for a homemade Dobsonian I plan to build will cost as much as a new car, $25,000 or so. Effects pedals. I took some to a friend's house a few weeks ago for a stoner noise jam and he said, "What is that? About $2,000 in pedals?" I was about to push back as it seemed absurd. Then I realized he was right. Edit. I'm not alone. Chicken shawarma. Can't get enough of that damn white sauce. Fencing and fencing accessories. Not the barbed wire type, but the stabbing people with long pointy metal sticks kind. Chicken feed. Those little buggers are just stomachs covered in feathers. I was going through 200 pounds a month for a while, even though they free range and eat everything they can find. I spent $800 on a bow, like a bow and arrow, for target shooting. I told my friends and they all told me I was nuts. I probably am. Skooma. Can't get enough of that sweet moon sugar. Dungeons and Dragons dice. Dear God. Lego. I have 5 or 6 of the Creator Expert modular buildings which I've turned into a city street along with the Ghostbusters HQ. I also have the UX 7500 piece Millennium Falcon. Several of the Creator Expert cars, the Mustang being the best, and a few other various sets too. I cannot wait for Friday and the release of the 1989 Batmobile. Edit. Here's some pics of my collection. Fountain pens. I haven't sunk much into it yet because poor, but I am planning to spend a lot in the near future. Private hand balancing lessons. Frustrating as hell. Expensive. The practice takes years to gain any skill in, and nobody said I had talent. Still, $170 a week if neither of my coaches has to cancel. Hobbies that I lose motivation for. I have guitars I can't play, a 3D printer that hasn't been used in weeks, sketchbooks that have most of their pages untouched, guns that have fallen silent. I love antique shotguns, handheld gaming consoles in various states of repair, a project car that I have nearly done, and will finish before New Year's I hope. Bonsai that are effectively just houseplants in funny dirt. Games I don't play. Random computer parts scattered about. Collections gathering dust. And a ton of parts and specialty tools that rarely get used. I have my sights set on fiddling with gunpla and some light prop model making for some reason now. If I was smart and financially responsible, I wouldn't deep dive into things immediately. I have a ton of useful oddball skills and mechanical aptitude to show for it though. 2 courses of Accutane for severe acne gave me my life back. Art supplies. More than half of it remains unused. I just like looking at them. Blueberry Nutri-Grain bars. I'm always buying that it man. I'm addicted to them. Well, not anymore, but bath products. I would spend at least $500 per month on bath bombs and bubble bars etc. Vintage style clothing and lingerie. So beautiful yet so expensive. Board games. I've got a collection of over 230 plus about 160 expansions for those. Granted the hobby is growing, but I'd wager the majority of people haven't experienced much past Cards Against Humanity. Vinyl records. Most people are like don't you know Spotify is like $10 a month? Watches. Too many watches to wear. I just really like them. Therapy. I've been going to therapy once a week for 10 years. I don't care how much I've spent because it's a necessity. I wish other people spent the money on therapy. Warhammer models. Paints. Brushes. Hobby accessories. I play both 40k and Age of Sigmar. I've painted 3 large armies in 40k, sold one to a friend, and I'm working on my first Age of Sigmar army. There's probably a couple $100 in paints alone in a 12x8 or so plastic shoebox I keep them in. They call it plastic crack for a reason. I pay $22,000 a year in property taxes to live in a normal size house. Duck, Long Island. Butter. Sure, I could buy that Land O'Lakes crap for $3 lb, but have you ever tried Birdie Barrett? It's stunning. Edit. Spelling. Bears. I live in Nick. The subway does mostly work. Kinda sometimes. But I'm kinda addicted to being chauffeured in a car that's not a cab and looking out the window. At the risk of sounding classist, the subway is so mentally and physically exhausting. But also I'm poor, so. Enamel pins. I love them, and especially ones of cartoons, games, music, etc. Come in very handy with expressing personality. I put them on my leather jacket and swap every now and then to not have many holes poked. I hope to order a few custom made ones someday when I don't feel so cheap. Movies. I have Netflix, Disney Plus, etc. Yet I still buy at least one movie a month, usually more, even though I already have a ton of movies TV series. Antique swords. My M1855 French Superior Officer's Sabre arrived today. It is the third French 1845/55 sabre I have added to my collection. Steel does not last without effort, and too many beautiful historic pieces rust away. I preserve what I can and hope to someday get a 3D scanner to scan my collection and preserve them forever. Point shoes and dance classes. I buy a lot of books. I have huge collection now that most people find ridiculous. Coffee. I've literally drank 2/3 my body weight in coffee this year. Getting my hair cut. It is nothing special. Just get it done every 3 weeks and it costs me about $50 a pop, includes tip. Approx $850 a year. I have thick hair and I like it short and styled. When I was a kid I hated it when it got too long or shaggy, but my mum made me wait for a cut. So as a grown-ass man, I get it cut when the duck I want. Houseplants. I have over 100. Absolute addiction. I'm into hoyas and have gone as far as to order from overseas. The prices in the US are crazy. I've seen plants sell for thousands on eBay. My family and friends think I have a problem. Nareosus copyright earring. Virginals. They are so delicate and expressive. Dogecoins. Cryptocurrency based off a meme that I originally purchased as a joke. Now I can't stop buying in an attempt to lower my average price and have almost 2 million coins. Pillows and bedding. You spend a third of your life asleep. You gotta be comfy. But for some reason a lot of people I know skimp on it. Canned soup. I like trying a different kind of canned soup at least once a week. Comic books. Most people can't comprehend spending $20 on a single book, let alone $50 or $100. Chocolate croissants. I buy half a dozen every week and have one every morning with my coffee. There's only one bakery in town that makes them and there is not a huge demand. Archery. Bows and equipment cost a fortune, and not really a famous sport in my country, but I've always been fascinated by it and I don't actually have any other hobbies apart from books. I love hot sauce and at any given time have 40-50 bottles open and in use. It's not a lot of money but it's way more than the average person spends on hot sauce. I buy CDs. Most people don't even use them anymore because of digital download now, but I love being able to hold them in my hands and use them in my car without having to change the songs on my cell phone. I just prefer it because the designs are often very cool and I always have something to get signed when I go to shows. I also think that artists build albums thinking of it as something you have to listen to from beginning to end to get the full experience. I'd say that I have approx 100 of them, but the number is still growing. That tea is expensive. I might sound old school, but I am an old teenager or young adult who still enjoys non-digital. I hope they don't stop making them in the future, although they should start using less plastic for the cases and more cardboard. Guitar Hero controllers. Playing cards. Not Magic the Gathering or any other card games. Just regular poker playing cards with cool designs. I open them, look at them, put them back in their box and put it in my drawer to never be opened again.